Alright, in this video we're going to take a look at some of the cars driven by French people. Okay, this is a very popular and common model. I believe most of them, or at least some of them, are four-wheel drive. And it is Dacia. You'll see that in a lot of places. It's a Romanian car manufacturer. It's generally viewed as being pretty economical, and it's owned by Renault. Here's another one parked right across the street from that first Dacia. You don't see too many American brands, but here's one. Here's a Ford. Not sure what kind. It's pretty new. ST line, it says. Let's see if the model is in the back. Ah, Ford Fiesta. Two more Dacias, and then one right there, the brown one. There's a Toyota. Not sure what kind of model it is. See a lot of RAV4s around here too. It's pretty much the biggest one. And then a lot of Peugeots. A lot of Peugeots, Renaults, and Citroens. There's a Citroen. There's a Renault. Right behind that's a Volkswagen. That's a pretty popular and common brand. Toyota. Ah, this one. Here's a brand you don't see in the US. And I believe it's SEAT or SEAT, spelled S-E-A-T as an acronym. See quite a few of those. Here's a Fiat, also a very popular brand in France. This is the free parking out and back, so the cars are maybe a little less cherished cars back here. Oh wow, this is something you almost never see. A Chevy. See very few Chevys out here. That may be the first one in 2 years I've seen. Mini Cooper, pretty popular. Another Dacia, hugely popular around here. In fact, I'm kind of thinking about one for myself because of the four-wheel drive. Okay, here are some utility vehicles. There's a Renault and Traffic. I'm not sure who does that. Let's go look. Also Renault. Now here's something near and dear to my heart. City's car share program, which has been such a wonderful deal that I have been hesitant to buy a car for ourselves. These are parked everywhere. They have all sorts of vehicles, everything from utility vans to little econo cars to electric cars. And the price is really reasonable, includes gas and car insurance. And I've just not been able to economically justify buying a car for ourselves. Another Citroen. They have a model that looks very much like a Mini Cooper. Another Dacia. I think Dacia is winning on popularity in today's walk. Another Renault. Now this is interesting because this configuration of a Renault, this is called a Kangoo. Renault Kangoo. It comes in both the sort of utility version, like this one, and it comes in a sort of family-friendly version, which is kind of France's Mini Cooper. Excuse me, minivan. They have very high ceilings, and we went on a trip recently and were able to pack all our surfboards inside the car above our heads. It's a Peugeot. 2 Peugeots in a row. Now, there's another Peugeot. Another Peugeot. And as you can tell, they're not as tiny as Americans think Europeans drive. Although Europeans do, French do tend to drive a little bit smaller cars than Americans. There's a smart car. 4-door smart car. Peugeot. Toyota. Very mini type of Toyota. I'm not sure what the model is. Toyota Aygo. Renault utility van. Now, if we were to go into a parking garage where the rich folks put their cars, you'd see Land Rovers, a pretty popular brand. What else? Land Rovers, Mercedes are pretty popular here, and BMW. You see quite a few BMWs among the bougie. Now here we go, Opel. It's another brand that is, you don't see a ton of them, but you see enough of them. This is an Opel Curio. And there's a Beamer. Here we go, here's a Mercedes A170. Haven't seen that before. Avant-garde, it says. Another Citroen. Suzuki. Renault. There's the Renault emblem. That's the Citroen emblem. And that's a Peugeot emblem. Something called an Abarth. Haven't seen that before. Cool little looking car though. Kind of like a Fiat look. Oh, cool. I like the logo. It says 500. Makes me think that it's a Fiat or related. These are things that you see here, but not back in the state. It's a two-door Land Cruiser, Toyota Land Cruiser. By the way, Land Cruisers are incredibly expensive here. Not sure why, but it was my car in the States, and I've had to give up on the idea of getting one here because it's just too expensive. Here's a Fiat. I haven't seen that many of them this morning, but usually you see quite a few Fiats. And there it says 500. And here is the, is this a Kangoo? Yeah, it's a Kangoo. And this is the sort of family configuration of the Renault Kangoo. And like I said, Citroen has a similar model. And like you can see, the ceilings, roofs are really high, really tall. You can fit in just a ton of stuff in there. I don't know if you can see inside, but yeah, they're a little unstable in high winds and going really fast, but otherwise really surprisingly useful on our recent trip to the coast. Okay, the missing brand this morning, other than Land Rover, has been or Range Rover. I always forget which is the actual brand and which is the model. Anyway, the missing one other than that has been the DS, because that has a really cryptic emblem. Took me a long time to figure out what that car was. There's a Mercedes, and I haven't seen it this morning. So yeah, I'm on the hunt for a DS, and that's just letter D initial and letter S initial. It's another city's car with a Renault Clio, which is a very nice driving car. That's one I've driven quite a lot. Quite like it. At this point, you should be able to tell it's Citroen, Peugeot, and more than anyone, Renault have a huge portion of the market share. Okay, here we get a Land Rover Discovery. I realize I said portion of the market share. I guess that's redundant. Just market share. The biggest market share belongs to Renault, and then Peugeot and Citroen fall in behind. Here is something else that's exceedingly rare out here. A GMC Denali. Somebody's a fan of Americana here, because you do not see these. Any kind of giant pickup truck is pretty uncommon in France. Here's another city's rental car or car share. One of the smaller versions. I think it's called a. Oh, look, here we have Nissan. So Nissan, you don't see a lot of them, even though it's technically a French company. Renault Nissan. Actually, now it's Renault Nissan Mitsubishi. Oh, look at that. I've seen more Fords this morning than I have in my entire life living here. It's kind of a nice looking Opel. Opel Crossland. There you go. There's the city's utility van. So you can see these things are parked everywhere, all sorts of cars, make it super convenient. So in my hunt for a DS, which is kind of ridiculous at this point because it ain't all that. Oh, here's one that we were missing from our list, Skoda. So yeah, this is a not uncommon brand here in France. You'll see a few of these. Volvo, you don't see that many of those. Renault Twingo. Ah, there it is, but strange. DS Citroen. Okay, I'm confused. Is it a DS or is it a Citroen? In fact, here's two DS Citroens in a row. Strange. By the way, it's kind of funny. A guy just approached me wondering what I was doing. He thought that I was ticketing people, and he hadn't paid, so he kind of freaked out. That was another Skoda right there.